yourself, tell us a bit about you.
Can everyone hear me well?
Yes.
Yep.
Awesome. Good morning, everyone. I'm very delighted for this invitation. Thank you, Adedoyin. And my name is Halima. I'm 32 years old, and I live here in Senegal, Dakar. I am from Senegal, actually. And yeah, really looking forward to engaging with each of you. And yeah, let's have this great conversation.
Awesome. Thank you, Halima. Sami, over to you.
Hey, hi everyone. My name is Sami, Samuel Osei, but people call me Sami Osei right here from Ghana. Great privilege to be here, especially among two Senegalese. You know, Senegal is the new kid on the block. You just won the AFCON. So I'm really looking forward to a great conversation with all of you. Really happy to be here.
That's true. Congratulations on the win. I don't follow football, but I know who wins, who did not win, and all of that good stuff.
Yeah, that day I was like a Senegalese. Celebrated with them.
Thank you so much. I think all Africans actually felt like Senegalese that day, which is amazing.
Right.
I love it. I love it. Yes, Mina, over to you.
Yes, first of all, thank you so much for having me today. It's really a pleasure to be a part of the Get to Know series. My name is Yasmina. I'm based in Dakar, Senegal. And thank you, Sami. We are indeed the new kid on the block, and all Africans indeed feel as like champions nowadays. So yeah, looking forward to welcoming you here.
Awesome.
Sure.
Yasmina, I want to confirm you're also born in Senegal, right? Can you hear me?
I am so sorry you're breaking up.
Okay. Oh, sorry, probably my internet. I was like, you're born in Senegal.
Actually, I was born in Brazzaville, Congo. My mother is from Senegal. My dad is from Benin and Nigeria. So I'm quite Pan-African, as you can see.
Wow, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's get right to it. And I just want to start off by knowing how you all began your career in communications. What inspired you or led you to start off as a comms professional? And I'm going to start with Sami, then after Sami, Halima, and then Yasmina.
Thank you, Ade. Thank you once again. You know, people talk about their comms journey and how it started and all that. Actually, my comms journey started without me knowing that I was on a journey. You know, I grew up with a father who taught languages. He taught French and English. And I remember he would tell me that read everything. In other words, if you're just walking down the street and you see something on the wall, just go close and read it. If you buy, you know, in Africa, if you buy corn, they will use the newspaper to wrap it up for you. He said, after chewing the corn, make sure you read everything on that paper before you throw it away. So that is where my interest in reading started. And then my father was a radio person. He could listen to radio from morning to dawn. So I just developed that interest in radio as well. I listened to different programs, different people, different perspective, different ideas. So that also became my passion, just to listen to radio and program, the BBC and all that. Now, after university, although I studied business actually for my first degree, I found myself somehow doing things, editing magazines, you know, doing voluntary radio work and a lot more things. And in all this, it was just passion. I didn't care. I didn't know where it was leading me. I didn't care about money. I didn't care about anything. But it so happened that eventually I found myself as a broadcaster. Worked for City FM, and you may know about City FM here in Ghana. It's actually the leading English radio station here. And interestingly, as soon as I got to City, then things started coming together, because it didn't take me too long to get all the nuances in the newsroom and thrive. So 3 months I was promoted after being in the newsroom. 6 months actually, I became the editor of cityfmonline.com, which is now citynewsroom.com. You know, I became head of research and features. I was doing so many radio documentaries, and I did. That's where my love for storytelling actually, not begun, but gained a lot more relevance. And so I did that for a while, and then I got into Newmont. Got a job with Newmont, which is actually a gold mining company. Currently is the #1 gold mining company in the world in terms of size and asset and so on. When I got there, that is where I began realizing that there is a formality to this thing called communication. Good thing is that I was started off as the senior communications officer for external comms. So they placed me at as the media relations person. And it was good to kind of branch into mainline communication with the media relations background, because that's where my comfort zone was. Gradually, I got into appreciating the nuances of putting a comm strategy together. And I had to unlearn, because being a media person does not automatically make you a great comms person. So I had to literally begin to learn even the structures, internal comms, external comms. So the company of over 5,000 people, employees at the time, we were very heavy on internal comms. I had to learn how to put an internal comm strategy together, stakeholder analysis, action plans, measurement, everything. I learned all that from the scratch. And this is my 10th year at Newmont, actually. I have moved into 3 different roles and have moved beyond Newmont into the mining industry in Ghana and in Africa. And I've done some stints, in different parts of the world as a result of this journey. But, I actually now got to know that I'm on a journey once I started proper corporate comms. And that is where I began to be deliberate about what to study, the people to connect to, how to build myself and, be a great player in the industry. And I think it's been an exciting journey. And every day is a new day. And yeah, maybe for now, this is what I would say about my journey.
Wow, that's really amazing. I'm going to drill down. I have many questions, but let me move over to Halima and then Yasmina.
Thank you, Adedoyin. This is great, Sami. I actually do share that common passion for radio with your dad. And how did I break into the comms world? So my undergrad degree was in journalism, and the emphasis was on broadcast. So I was a TV and radio journalist. And at some point, I just realized I was amazing at bringing people together for initiatives, but not really in front of the camera. So the initial plan for myself was to work in a media house, which happened in Senegal, but also in Morocco, where I studied. But there was that internship at the UNESCO office in Dakar 9 years ago that really opened my eyes to all the ways of leveraging my love for building relationships. And working there as a comms assistant was, to be honest, a bit over my skill level at the time. And that really pushed me harder than ever before to learn and succeed in the communications field. So I spent 3 months at that regional office, and I flew back to Morocco, where I was living at the time. And 3 months later, I just decided to leave my journalism career behind. I flew back to Dakar with literally no savings. And by the end of 2013, I secured a communications assistant position in Mauritius Island. I'm happy to see that we have someone from Mauritius today. And back then I was just a single lady with no attachments, except for my mom living in Dakar. And I landed at a regional organization called the Indian Ocean Commission. So that's how it started.
Amazing. I know some of this story, Halima, because you've told me, so I'm still going to come back in the next round of questions. Yasmina, can you tell us about your journey into comms?
Yeah, sure thing. So good to hear about your experience, Halima. First of all, I started my career without even knowing that I will end up in communications, because actually I went to school for business and administration, and I've been working in the PR, communications, and media relations industry for the last 10 years, and working in Africa is amazing. There are 54 countries, 54 different media landscapes. It's so complex, but so interesting and exciting at the same time. So how did I really begin? I came back to Senegal 10 years ago to start my career in marketing, but actually I started my career in marketing in the United States. And let me tell you, the industry in marketing has nothing to do with the ones in the United States, in Senegal particularly. So I really had some troubles deciding on a career path. And I started with event management with the Mo Ibrahim Foundation 10 years ago, which allowed me to work with a series of amazing NGOs and companies, such as the Young African Leadership Initiative, which was a program launched by Barack Obama, where I used to handle all aspects of traditional digital and social media across 16 Francophone and Portuguese-speaking countries. This experience really allowed me to set my network and my ground in other countries than Senegal, of course. And I'm currently an account director with APO Group, and APO Group is the leading Pan-African consultancy. We have over 300 clients, such as the Jack Ma Foundation, the NBA, the Basketball Africa League, Eco Bank, the European Investment Bank. So it's an amazing opportunity to work with a company with such a diverse portfolio of clients across Africa. So thank you so much again.
Wow, I'm just here like, whoa, this is just really, really, really amazing. I love that. Thank you so much. Halima, I'm going to come back to you. And knowing your career journey, and I know you used to work with the APO Group, and starting off in Senegal, dealing with, I believe you must have had briefs across the continent. Were there things that surprised you or shocked you in terms of how comms was done in different areas of the continent?
Thank you so much, Ade. This is a great question. So actually what happened is that I am what we call a repat. I'm sure you are familiar with that in Ghana, but also in Nigeria and other countries across Africa. And when I left Senegal, I was just this young person. I was 17 years old at that time. And then I came back, I was a professional in the field. So things were a little bit different. And I think I was very lucky enough to find my calling, because I used to have like this communication passion. I shared it with some Senegalese journalists. So I just reached out to them, also other professionals in the field, and I would always keep in touch with them. So it was very useful, you know, to reach out to them on a daily basis and then get some tips. And yeah, so I don't think it was difficult. And I also had this huge opportunity to work with a lot of field operations team in a couple of NGOs, and that really helped me understand, you know, all the scope of the programs that were achieved. So not only by the NGOs, but also a couple of donors, such as the European Union, etc.
Nice, really, really amazing. Sammy, I'm going to come to you because you got into Newmont and what, 5,000? When you said 5,000, I was like, whoa, for somebody that is new, that would have been overwhelming. Yeah. Now you've been there for 10 years, which kudos to you, 10 years. Now, looking at you when you first started and you now, what are some of the lessons that you had to learn? Because I'm sure you had to learn on the job and you had to learn very quickly for you to even have been there for this long. So can you share some of the lessons and how you even felt going into that space?
Yeah, again, I went into that space without a lot of expectation, you know, because at the time I was not a comms person through and through. So I went in there very curious. And like I said, it was great that they started me from external comms and media relations, because then my confidence was still up and I had to build it from my comfort zone down in there. But what worked for me, and I mean, I've occupied a lot of great, you know, I've been blessed to occupy some senior leadership positions within the company because I decided to learn. And it is a decision every comms person has to make. And then again, there is something I call the currency for success. As soon as I got, you see, the currency to succeed as a comms person depends on the environment you find yourself. And so mine is typically, you know, want to see they want to see themselves in the media. They want to be talked about in the positive light and all that. But we are not an FMCG. And so you need to engage more than to, be all over the place. But that is what they wanted to see. And so for me, the currency at that point was for the CEO. We don't call them CEO, we call them RSVPs and general manager to trust me as a comms person. So we did a number of great stories for them out there. And once they were satisfied, we now had to draw them down into the strategic position and say, listen, we've done a lot of good job putting us out there, people seeing us. But for a mine, you don't always expose the brand out there like that. We need a strategy to connect more to stakeholders. So that then became a great focus. If you don't know your currency for success and you go in there with all your technicalities and decide to, drill it down the throat of people, you never succeed as a comms person. So for me, that was one of the things that did work for us. Then the ability to connect, because like I said, we had an employee population of over 5,500 on one mine, very, with different people with different skill set. We have geologists, we have mining engineers, we have metallurgists, we have finance, we have IT. These people are wired differently. They think differently. The expectations are different. And yet you are expected to understand all these different stakeholders and appeal to their communication needs. So there had to be a deliberate effort to connect, to have regular meetings with them, to understand their planning, to understand their perspectives, to understand their expectations, and tailor our plans to meet them. And thanks for the communication leadership that I had. So there was a lot of time spent on strategizing, and I was blessed to be part of all those strategies or strategy sessions. So once we got our internal communications right, succeeded in getting employees to understand their roles as ambassadors for the organization and align them to the overall strategy, it was easier to get it right out there externally, because then we spoke with one voice. And so employees were never surprised. They don't see things in the media first before they were informed, to come back to us and so on. When there was crisis, you had your employees talking about your safety values and how, they were always on point with the messaging, because we were very deliberate with our messaging to employees, and it aligned exactly with what we had to tell employees. And for me, knowing the currency to succeed, understanding the complexities of the different stakeholders, tailoring your strategies to suit their communication needs, and of course, aligning all of them to the overall strategy of the business was a good way to start. And I was blessed to have leaders that I learned from over the years. And with that foundation and background, it was relatively easy to now branch into other areas, even beyond Newmont, and succeed.
Amazing. I've learned something from you. It's that every organization and every sphere, there is a different currency to succeed. And it's important for us to know, in this place, what is the currency to succeed and how do you connect? I think that's very, very important wherever you are. Thank you so much for that, Sammy.
And the same applies for the different, like we are saying, different continents. I mean, once the environment changes, you need to just ask yourself, what is the currency to succeed in this environment? So if I move to Senegal to see Sadio Mane, I would have to ask myself, how do I succeed in Senegal?
I love it. So Yasmin, I'm going to write off this currency to succeed. Can you tell us typically what's it like to do comms in Senegal, and what has been your own personal experience? You've worked on interesting briefs, so can you just give us insights into how that has been for you?
Well, like I was saying, the media landscape and the PR and communications industry in Africa is fascinating and diverse from country to country and region to region. In Senegal, I think it is crucial to adapt and to be at ease in various situations. And it is also crucial to build strong relationships, not only with the media, but also with key opinion leaders, with government officials, and so on. That really helped me throughout my career. but also I think it's about thinking outside the box, because we tend to adapt a lot, and we try to best translate our clients or companies' visions through their messages, and we try to adapt it best to the country. And just not too long ago, we actually released the radio news release at APO Group, and I'm not sure if you know, 67% of Africans still listen to the radio, and in Senegal, it has been quite useful to reach out to regions that are remote or far away from the big cities with less internet penetration and so on. And like Sammy was saying, my mom still listens to the radio every day. And again, in Senegal, it's also about keeping a strong network, because as you know, our industry is an ever evolving one. So we have to maintain, keep up with our skills, keep tech savvy with social media and digital marketing, which are crucial in our industry nowadays. But I have to say, working in Senegal, I can say, I think that I can work anywhere now, because I've been confronted to some incredible situations, but I did my best to manage. And it's also about building experiences, getting to know the locals. And yeah, it's been a fascinating journey so far.
Okay, Yasmin, I'm still going to focus on you. Can you talk us through the challenges? So if I'm a Nigerian and I have to come and work in Senegal, what do I need to bear in mind or consider?
Well, first of all, Senegal is a very welcoming country. It's the country of Teranga. Teranga means hospitality. It's a lovely country, gorgeous country. But I have to say, you have to be prepared. For example, a Nigerian coming to Senegal, we speak French. That's the most spoken language in businesses outside of the local one, which is Wolof. You also need to be aware that Senegal is quite expensive to live in compared to other countries such as Togo or Benin. But also it's a very cosmopolitan country with a mix of people from West Africa to South Africa to the US to Europe. So it's an amazing city to live with, and working within this the media landscape here, it's quite dynamic, because the thing is, what I've noticed is working in Senegal, you will also work in Ivory Coast or Ghana or even Nigeria, even with the language barrier, since we speak French here. But I will encourage any Nigerian to come to Senegal and work here.
I love it. Thank you so much. Halima, are you still with us? I want to move to you.
I am.
Okay, awesome. So Halima, we've heard from Yasmina's perspective. What's your perspective of, practicing comms in Senegal? What has been your experience and lessons learned?
Mm-hmm. And I think about my experience, it's just great, because I relocated actually here 2.5 years ago. Before that, I was a stay-at-home mom in the US. So that's where I spent 3 years before flying back to Dakar. And since then, before my current job, I was working with Yasmina at APO Group, and I chose agency work because the interaction with the different clientele was just what I found the most enjoyable in the comms world. So after that, I think communications just plays a fundamental role in all facets of business. So here in Senegal, all of the businesses, like from the government, in the private sector, in the NGOs, the UN system, communications, you will always find people with strong background around comms, but also all aspects of the comms. And I chose to specialize in public relations specifically. And now I am often tasked, for example, right now at my current job, I'm developing persuasive story ideas around migrant protection, also always trying to earn media placement, always looking forward to solving problems. and also crisis. So I think one of the key, what can be very helpful is detailed planning. I truly believe in efficient and detailed planning on a day-to-day basis. I think that's very, very effective in our industry. And in terms of coming here to Dakar, moving here, I think that is a broad question with many variables. And the good news is here in Senegal, communications is one of the top hiring sector. So I would encourage any comms professional to come and just enjoy the benefits of living here in Senegal. We have a very good number of foreigners who live here, and not only our white people friend, but also people from West Africa, from Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Mali, Burkina, but also from Nigeria, East Africa, Ethiopia, Rwanda. And yeah, I think comms professionals in general, they don't really have that much of a problem to adapt. Now it will depend on your money plans. Come with the plan. Come here with a solid money plan, because the pay scale will differ depending on your experience, depending on the company you will be working for, or depending on the type of contract you will secure, a local one or an expatriate one. But yeah, just you are very welcome to come here in Senegal. As for the French, yes, I would advise to learn to speak French if you're not if you do not speak French, but Wolof also, it will be to your benefit to learn that local language here. And yeah, also another thing I would mention is that Senegal is one of the best and cheapest place to set up a business. So I know, for example, yourself, Adedoyin, you are this great entrepreneur, and I'm really looking forward to yourself and also other friends and colleagues from Nigeria to just set up something here on
Amazing.
on the Francophone side. Yeah.
Halima has been rooting to get me to Senegal. So I have a list of 10 things that I must do when I visit Dakar. And it was interesting that there's a version of jollof rice in Senegal. I was like, oh my God, not this war about which jollof rice is better. Thank you so much for that, Halima. So Sami, can you give us a perspective from Ghana? What is the success factor? To succeed as a comms professional in Ghana, what are the things to be mindful of?
Right, Ade, thanks. So Ghana is essentially not so different from the experiences that Yasmina and Halima have shared. Thing is, first, you know, we are not, in terms of languages, it's just strictly English. Most of our media landscape, we actually operate with English as our first language. And so unlike Senegal or some of the Francophone countries where they typically can speak English alongside, you know, French, English is the main, but comms is all about connecting to your audiences. And like Senegal, Ghanaians are very hospitable people. And so if you want to succeed in Ghana, it's always a good thing to identify groups such as the Institute of Public Relations, because then the, you know, fraternity or the soil is already fertile for you to nurture some good relationships. Institute of Public Relations, the women in PR, there are quite a number of the Institute of, you know, Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana. These are great organizations to start from, because it will help you to connect a lot more with the people. And you need to be willing also to brave the odds. The thing is that we have a very vibrant media that can make or unmake a brand within the very shortest possible time. Ghanaians, like Nigerians, are very outspoken. If they're unhappy with your brand, they'll put it on social media and tell the world what they think about you. So you need to really, really understand the media landscape here in Ghana, connect to the right people. The influencers, build thriving relationships is very, very critical. Again, piggyback on Halima's, you know, point, planning is really essential, because the environment is a little bit complex. And so it's always important for you to study the nuances of the geopolitical or the socio-political scene here in Ghana and plan accordingly, else things can take you by surprise. In terms of industry, typically, comms employs quite a number of people here in Ghana. The pay structure is more attractive in certain areas than others. So the extractive industry, for example, like mining, oil and gas, we've been having a booming oil and gas industry over the last 10 years or so. Banking and some other sectors, do pay pretty quite well. But it's exciting also with agencies, because then you get to work with different clients, get to build your own skills, get to build great networks. And so that's also something that you need to look at. But I did say that you need to brace the odd, because sometimes it might take a little while for you not to be seen as an outsider. The people are hospitable and all that, but when you begin to compete, you would need to demonstrate that value, to have that universal acceptance. But overall, I would say that it's been exciting working here in Ghana, and with different industries, different stakeholders, different networks. And, with the experiences I've had outside of Ghana, I think that is also a place that if you're able to survive, you should be able to survive anywhere else.
Amazing. And I really love this thread of similarities that I'm hearing. And I'm thinking also Nigeria, there are also some similarities. Are there peculiar challenges that people will have to bear in mind? So someone from Senegal coming to Ghana, are there challenges that they may need to have in mind when they're coming?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the language barrier, like I said, we are steep in English, just like Nigeria. And so if we do business purely in English. In the media, there is a very thriving local media. They speak the cheese and the gas, basically the Akan language. So that is that. But if you're coming from Senegal, you need to at least be good with the English language. But then, French becomes an advantage for you as well. Because most of us don't speak French, there are organizations stationed here that are trying to branch into other parts of Africa. So you can work from here and still offer that support to the other, branches of your company across the continent, which will be a very good opportunity for you to thrive and rise very quickly here in Ghana. I mean, banks like EcoBank and Standard Bank, they like people who are multilingual. And so I'm here in Ghana and I'm like, oh God, how do I get my French up to scratch? So Yasmina, Halima, I'm going to contact you guys to make sure that I get my, but the language mix can be a little bit challenging. Also, like I said, we have a very vibrant media. And if you're coming in as an outsider, you will need to really have a networking strategy to get into the hearts and minds of people, because relationships play a very key role in media relations. I know universally within the comms industry, but also here in Ghana. And in order not to be seen as an outsider, you really have to be deliberate about how you integrate with people and get into the system. So it can be a challenge if you are the shy type, and if you are an introvert and you want to stick within your own borders. That can also be a challenge for you, but it's a challenge that can easily be overcome. So yeah, top of my head, I think these are some of the things, but I certainly say that anybody coming from Senegal to Ghana will thrive because the similarities are there. You have opportunity with the language, and the issues are essentially the same. This is one Africa, so yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. The issues are actually the same, and there are also similarities. Yasmina, I'm going to come to you, and I read an article that Halima had sent to me about Teranga, and I thought, oh, this is very interesting. And Sami has said, they're also hospitable. But the truth of it is that across Africa, we have stereotypes about one another. So when you go, oh, you're Nigerian, oh, that means you must be XYZ. Oh, you're from Ivory Coast. Da, 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 da. So what are the stereotypes that, we should think about, or the stereotypes that you would like to debunk about working in Senegal or being in Senegal?
Oh, wow. As I mentioned earlier, I've come from various parts of Africa, and I lived in different parts of Africa. And I've definitely been victim of stereotypes, especially in Senegal, because, you know, especially when you don't really speak the local language, you are automatically seen as an outsider. And also giving the fact that I'm not 100% Senegalese, and my last name doesn't sound Senegalese at all. And I'm often arguing over the phone with companies when they misspell my name, but that's just one of the many things that I've been through here. But at the same time, we come in with our own stereotypes, because we also feel that we're going to be singled out. But it's not necessarily as such. You know, people in Senegal are quite warm, even though at first you might see that there are a blockage, because they don't really know you, they don't know where you come from. And sometimes in Senegalese, we think we are the best, so we are not always open to other countries. But like I said, with the country of Teranga, when you come to Senegal, you will be surprised of the number of nationalities from Africa. A lot of my friends from the US and Tanzania moved to Senegal. So in the beginning, it's a bit of a challenge and a bit of stereotype, but once they get to know you and you approach them and you're not scared to get singled out, it's definitely an amazing human experience.
It said not being scared of being singled out. So that's interesting. How were you able to overcome some of the stereotypes yourself?
Just a quick example. When I came back to Senegal 10 years ago, after having my degree in the United States and started my professional career, it was very challenging, actually, because, you know, people were thinking, oh, you went to school in the United States, you think you're better than us, and such stereotypes. But at the same time, I've worked with Senegalese who went to school, who've done their whole school courses in Senegal. And I mean, they are amazing. You know, there is no difference between someone who went to school in the United States or the Europe, or in Europe. Actually, it is an advantage, because you are exposed to other cultural aspects of other continents. But at the same time, for me, it was really getting to know these people, getting to learn a little bit the local language, to make jokes. And another thing is, when I came back to Senegal, in the office setting on Fridays, people dress up with the big boubou, the gorgeous Senegalese boubou, and I would always come dressed with like my suit. And one day I just came with this huge boubou, and everybody started applauding me. So, you know, there are also different ways to connect in Senegal, through art, through culture, through food. So like I said, Senegal will be an amazing experience for any communications professional looking to expand their network and live a different experience.
Oh, I love that example you shared. And I think that if we're open-minded, because a lot of it is being open-minded, if you're open-minded and just willing to adapt, then it's easier to overcome some of these stereotypes.
Absolutely.
Halima, what about you? What stereotypes, you know, did you face, or can you talk about?
I love that question. I did not really face like a specific stereotype, but one thing I will mention is that like for any foreigner, always try different type of Senegalese foods, because people will get offended if we only if you only stick to what you are used to. Like in Ghana or in Nigeria, always open your mind, like you said. And I will come back to what Yasmina just mentioned. It's always important to get yourself
Can we still hear Halima?
I think she dropped.
Oh, yes, I think so. Okay, I hope she comes back soon. Let's see. Okay, Sammy, let me move to you. So talking on stereotypes about Ghana, or if you faced any kind of stereotypes I've had to overcome yourself.
Well, I mean, I grew up here. I studied here. I, you know, started work here. And so I was on radio, sorry, for a long time, built a couple of influence. Apologies.
No worries.
So personally, I'm sorry.
Do you need some water?
Yes, can you please move to someone else? I'll just,
sure.
yeah.
Halima, are you back?
Hello. Yes, I'm back.
Okay,
I'm so sorry. Internet.
No
Internet
worries.
trouble. So I don't know, where did you guys lost me?
You were saying about, sticking to the food that you know.
Okay. So yeah, I was explaining that it's always nice to try Senegalese foods, because most of the time I would say people, they will get like mad at you or surprised that you don't want to try their food. And also on a cultural aspect here in Senegal, it's very important to learn how to greet people. They always appreciate it when you take the time with them. Even in business meetings, they will appreciate if you don't speak French or Wolof to try out and then just say a few words. It's always to your benefit. And something else I wanted to mention is that personally, I did not experience a specific stereotypes. That happened when I was living in Morocco, but from a foreigner coming here in Senegal, I think it's always nice to get yourself familiarized, with the culture. And I think it's always, it's easy for people coming from all across Africa, because like we've been saying since the beginning of this conversation, Senegal is the land of Teranga. People are very welcoming. They will always take the time to hear you out, to share information with you. Now, on a professional setting, it might not be the same, like we are all experiencing in our own settings and environments. But yeah. I think if you always make that active effort to respect people, to adapt to the local life, you will have a very much enriching experience than if you stay in a comfort zone and you stay apart.
Wow, thank you. Halima, I'm just going to, you spoke about stereotypes in Morocco. Can you just talk a bit about that? What was that experience like for you?
So I spent 6 years in Morocco, and Morocco is a very nice country, very welcoming. The food is great, people are great. But when you come from sub-Saharan Africa, sometimes it might be challenging. For example, at school, I remember, this is funny actually, this is a funny story to tell, because I loved communications, because at my school, we had people specializing in journalism specifically, and others specializing in comms. But the most welcoming teacher, he was the TV and radio journalism professor. So I did not have a chance to study communications much more than I was expecting or hoping, because that specific teacher, he was not that, he would, for example, he would speak Arabic in class, and I did not know a single word of Arabic, professional Arabic. So that's why I moved to the journalism part of my studies. So that's, for example, one thing that happened to me in Morocco. And another thing, I was living also with other sub-Saharan friends. And most of the time, we would get out, and then people would always single out the darker one, the darker skin one. And I'm a little bit light skinned. So Moroccan people, they would always greet me, in the local language, Darija, thinking I am from Morocco, but not realizing I'm actually from Senegal. I was sub-Saharan. So my friends, they would always laugh and be like, oh, okay, as you are the Moroccan person of the group, just go ahead and yeah, try to get us there. Like, for example, at the market, the local market, and yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Right. Yasmina, you have your hand up before I move to Sami.
Yes, I just wanted to make a comment, because My name is Yasmina, and Yasmina is an Arabic name because my parents met in Marrakesh, in Morocco. So when I was working in marketing in Senegal, it was easier for me to connect with the Arabic community because on email they will see Yasmina, but when I will show up, they will be surprised to see a Black person. But just to say, this is also a stereotype that I've experienced myself in Senegal.
Oh, that's so interesting. I'm loving these stories. Sammy, welcome back.
Thank you, and apologies.
Oh,
So
no worries at all.
interesting stories from my colleagues. For me, like I was saying, I integrated into the Ghanaian community quite well because I schooled here, I was born here, and I've worked here most part of my life. So I would not say that I faced a lot of stereotype across the country, Ghana, but when mines, if you're very familiar with mines, certain mines are usually located in the rural areas, right? That is where mining companies are typically located. So I moved from Accra. In my first role, I moved from Accra. I went to, a rural area where the mine is located. And then, of course, after some time, I came back to the Africa Regional Office, which is based here in Ghana, and went back there also in a different role. But when I went there, it was the typical stereotype again of these city guys coming to take jobs that should be for us. And they may not qualify for the job, but they feel a sense of entitlement to the job that you have. And so there is this kind of hostility. And that is why I always draw for my storytelling instincts. As a storyteller, I know that stories are very easy ways of connecting to people. So I share a little story with you. I do remember that when we went, when I first joined as an external comms, engaging with the communities and all that, you would hear people say that, listen, you guys have to employ us because the land belongs to us. The lands are for our ancestors, and so we are entitled. Then initially, my messaging will go around the fact that, yes, we are committed to creating employment for everybody. You've been compensated for their livelihood programs, and you have to concentrate on those things and so on. The business is here to ensure that, we maximize. I was talking business language. Then one day I said to myself, would I want to understand the context for this kind of hostility? And I realized that in Africa, land is equal to life. The land that we are mining on is the land of a family that has lived or sustained on that land for over 100 years plus. They kept passing it on from one generation to the other, because if you complete school and there's nothing, you can go and farm and you make money. All of a sudden, a mining company comes, they are paid some huge compensation, and they lose that. You see, that emotional attachment, that historical antecedent and all that is the reason why they feel that the job must be theirs. So then I ask myself, how do I connect with this story? Basically, so when people stereotype you, it's always because they are wondering, how is your difference to them going to threaten their existence or their advantage? You're a Senegalese, you come to Ghana. How is your uniqueness as a Senegalese going to threaten my advantage as a Ghanaian? But there's always a story that connects. And when you're able to identify those stories and connect, I'll give you another example. I was in South Africa working on a project to help some mining companies get visibility at mining in Durban, which happens to be, I think, the world's leading mining investment program. And these guys were from Saudi Arabia. And, they spoke English and everything. But I'm like, what story can I use to connect to these people? What stories can I use to connect to these people? So I got to them, say, hey, Saudi Arabia. They said Ghana. Fortunately for me, one said Asamoah Gyan. And Asamoah Gyan is a footballer from Ghana who, was playing in Saudi Arabia at the time. I said, oh, you like football? We spoke football for 30 seconds and everything came down and we were on one plate. So for me, I would say that, yes, I experienced it briefly down there in the rural areas where our mines are located, engaging the stakeholders and all that. But I always find a story that connects us. And it's always very easy when you start from a storytelling angle.
Wow, I hope we're all taking notes because that's so powerful. The stereotypes come because it's almost like they're thinking, what is this person going to do? I don't understand this person, but then there's always something that connects. So our difference should also even create a point of connection because there are areas where we can connect. That's so powerful. Thank you so much, Sammy. I'm going to be
and I can give you another example. I
Please
have
do.
worked with
I love your
different Africans, and of course Nigerians are our cousins, and it's so easy to know somebody who's a Nigerian and so on. There are Nigerians I have connected easily to. There are others. For example, I work with a Nigerian, and you hear him talking your language. I'm not saying speaking your language, talking your language. Hey, what are you eating today? Are you doing wache or something else? And the mere mention of wache makes it easy. So I also decided to say, hey, Oga Charlie, what's up? What's happening today? Then within weeks, I realized that this guy is not a Nigerian. I am not a Ghanaian. We are all Africans. There are others who would tell you, well, I am very traditional. And you see me in a kaftan and say, you are wearing a Nigerian kaftan. We are beginning to colonize you. That's a joke also. But the point I'm trying to make is that it's easier to connect when you make deliberate effort to kind of make the culture a part of you. So when I work with my fellow Nigerian brothers and sisters, we will talk football, we do our jollof and all that, but I make a conscious effort to connect with them. The lingo that they use. Hey, Oga, Omogana, this, I would say, they also come and say, Charlie, come. It's always easier to break stereotypes where there is a unique story and where we are deliberate about integrating into the culture of other people without, allowing it to threaten what we feel is our advantage.
Wow. Thank you so much. Like, this has been so enlightening for me on many levels. I want to open up for questions. I know we have Iris from Burkina Faso. We have Samantha from Mauritius, and Samantha moved to Mauritius because she got married. It'll be interesting to hear if you have any thoughts to share, Samantha, of how you acclimatized to Mauritius. So if anybody wants to share their experience, or you have any question about working in Ghana and in Senegal that you would like to contribute to the conversation, you can raise your hand or you can put in the chat. This for me has been very enlightening. Next week, we're going to be talking to our colleagues from East Africa, which I'm looking forward to that. Okay, Michael, I see your hand up. Please go for it.
Thank you very much. And I'm Michael from Ghana, a final year student at the Ghana Institute of Journalism and specializing in public relations. I want to ask our speakers, what is the mindset that an entry-level comms professional should have, and what skill sets should you have as you get to do your national service or start any comms role? And thanks for the presentations. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you, Michael. Sammy, I'll give that to you first. Then Yasmina or Halima, if you want to contribute to.
Right. So, Michael, good to see you here. Listen, the mindset, the number one mindset for any comms practitioner is a learning mindset. For comms, you have to be a lifelong learner. No 2 days are the same in comms, and that's why I love comms. No two situations are the same. No two stakeholders are the same. And so you have to be willing to learn and to unlearn in comms. You need to work on your writing skills. It's very critical. Maya Angelou says, I write because I read. And so to be a great writer, start by reading. Make reading a habit, a habit, not a chore. Sometimes you make reading a big responsibility. You go and buy a pack of books and then you tell yourself, I'll read all these things in 1 month, and you are not able to read it. But like my father taught me, if you see something on the wall, just walk to it and read. Read the newspaper, be deliberate about who you follow on social media and read what they write, different perspectives. So you have to be a reader and you have to be a writer. You need to work on your networking skills because in this our profession is all about connecting to stakeholders. And so it's easier for me to get to Nigeria right now because I can, WhatsApp Ade and say, Ade, I have a program in Nigeria. Can you connect me to somebody? So work on your networking skills, connect to the right people who help you. And always you need people you bounce ideas by. It's also a very good way of becoming great at comms. But I know Michael, this guy does a lot of volunteering works. I did a lot of volunteering works for the World Bank, the UNDP Youth Desk Office back in the day. I couldn't tell that story, but all those things shaped me. So by the time I got to the newsroom, I was ready to fly. So this is what I can say. I'm sure my colleagues want to add on to that.
Thank you, Sammy. Halima, do you want to add something?
Yes, I think, yeah, communications is the foundation, right, for many careers. I know for Adedoyin, for example, it all started by working as a writer. And I would answer to Michael's question that becoming an expert in one aspect, I think that's essential because for myself, for example, PR, I am a PR professional right now, but I started as a communications assistant and I climbed up the ladder from project management to working with NGOs, strategizing in terms of comms, and now I'm specializing in media relations. So I think that's nice if you try to become a true expert in something specifically. And the idea here is to keep learning, and then when others or when clients, business partners, etc., when they think of achieving a deliverable, they need to think of your name when looking for help in solving something and bringing down solutions. I think that's something maybe to consider.
I really love that. Thank you for that. Yasmina, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, maybe just a quick comment. For me, you have to be willing to put in the work, especially in the beginning, and build your network. Like I said, your network is your most important asset as a communications or PR professional across Africa, because it allows you to move from region to region. And like Sammy said, writing is essential, writing and reading. We need good quality content in Africa. We need more quality content. And also, I think it's about always staying ahead by lots of reading, understanding new trends, particularly how digital media is disrupting our industry, and understanding the various landscapes and be able to leverage on them. But for me, it's all about putting in a lot of work in the beginning, and it will definitely pay off.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I'm going to take a question for Samantha. Samantha, I really want to hear, anyway, I'm going to invite you for the one we're going to do for your region. Samantha is asking, so for someone that is new to Ghana, Senegal, what would be the most surprising or unexpected thing about working in communications in that country? Halima, let me come to you.
Well, I love that question. Thank you, Samantha. And I think here in Senegal, you would be super surprised. It sounds obvious, but you would be surprised to hear that a lot of work goes into planning successfully an event here. Because between the, for example, if let's say you are hiring an agency, a comms agency, or yourself, you are the founder of an agency, you will realize that sometimes it's the cleaning lady that will get you out there instead of someone from the business industry. So yeah, a lot of work will pop up. It's not always about how successful you already are, but also how you are able to persuade people and yeah, to get it there.
Amazing, thank you. Yasmina, anything to add to that?
No other comment, thank you.
Okay, Sammy, what about you?
Oh, you would know that Ghanaians can talk. Ghanaians can talk. Everybody talks, everybody writes, everybody shares their opinion anywhere. And and so if you are doing comms, then you need to know how you find yourself in the noise. Yeah, I guess that's clear enough. You just need to be deliberate about who you talk to, when you talk, how you talk, especially when it has to do with official communication about your business, because a simple tweet can become the topic for discussion on radio about your company. And so yeah, that's I think that's what it is.
Samantha says people in Mauritius love to talk to.
Yeah.
I think my perception of Mauritius, every time I hear Mauritius, people are always saying it's such an expensive place to live in, to work in. So I'm interested in hearing from professionals working there, what's it really, really like. But thank you so much, Sammy, Yasmina, Halima. These stories have been really, really amazing. And I think for me, in doing this series, what this conversation has done is just really opened our minds to the similarities between all of us. And it also gets me excited to want to come to Ghana. I've never been to Ghana. I know people laugh at me when I say that Ghana is your next door neighbor, but I've never.
Way. No way.
That's changing, Sammy. Don't worry, we're coming in March. So I'm going to be there in March. And Senegal as well. I'm going to put it in my calendar and make sure I travel and see Halima and Yasmina. But thank you so much for your time. Thank you for everybody that joined. We're really, really grateful. We're the Comms Avenue. You can join our community. We really just about networking, capacity building, and we really just also want to forge connections with our brothers and sisters across the continent. So I've put here our website if you want to be a part of the community. If you want to also join this conversation, next week we're going to East Africa, and the week after we're going to be in North and Southern Africa. So if you want to share your perspective of working in your region, please reach out to us via email, and we will be able to put you in one of the Get to Know series that's happening. And we're also planning in-person events across the continent. So we're going to start with Ghana in March and then other countries afterwards. So just come, learn, bond, and most importantly, as Sammy, Yasmin, and Halima have said, networks is so important. If I need something from Senegal, I can reach out to Halima. If I need something in Ghana, I can reach out to Sammy. And I've not met them before. I'm seeing, okay, this is the second time I'm seeing Sammy on the webinar. Halima, this is the first time. Yasmina, this is the first time. And it is all through virtual connections. And thankfully, we have that power and that network. So thank you, everyone, for joining. And we hope to see you next weekend when we talk to our colleagues from East Africa. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, everyone. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Pleasure. Bye-bye.
Bye.